with the whole range of their variants and genes adapted to different climates, environment, along with their interactions and process. But biodiversity is being depleted by the loss of habitat loss, fragmentation of habitat, over-exploitation of resources, human-sponsored ecosystem, climate change, pollution invasive, diseases, shipping cultivation, poaching of wildlife, all these are having a lot of impact on biodiversity. Effects of loss of biodiversity are it leads to depletion of genetic diversity. Genetic diversity. The loss of both genetic and ecosystem diversities results in a loss of cultural diversity. First thing is depletion of genetic diversity as well as genetic and ecosystem diversities result in a loss of cultural diversity. The alteration of the habitat results in mass extinction of particularly the endemic species. The loss of a species can have deleterious effects on the remaining species in an ecosystem which lead to breakdown of biodiversity. The loss of plant species also means the loss of unknown economic potential. See, thing you have to remember, everybody has to remember. Loss of species in the sense, loss of unknown economic potential. Extinct of plants can hardly be harvested for food crops, fibers, medicines and other products, especially rainforest. Hence, we have to conserve the biodiversity. Otherwise, there is a lot of problem will occur, including our food. For food also, there is a lot of crisis will occur because day to day several species are going on, several species are explored, going to extinction. Hence, there is a lot of problem. Each and every individual having the lot of importance and an impact at the same time. It is the duty to each and every individual to conserve the biodiversity in any kind of reason. Majorly, biodiversity conservation is divided into in situ conservation, ex situ conservation. What is in situ conservation? In situ conservation is conservation of species within their habitation. Conservation of species within their habitation. That is known as in situ conservation. Different various things are there for in situ conservation. Biosphere reserves, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, sacred forests, sacred rivers, ecosystems, everything I will explain. Ex situ conservation. Ex situ conservation. Species are majorly divided into endemic species and then endangered species. Endangered species are those easily their life they are going to extinction. That is the major drawback. If important species will goes to extinction, if important species will goes to extinction, what will happen? After some times they may not occur, they may not available in our earth. At this time, how we can get the benefits of with that species, that particular species? Listen to it. Endangered species. Endangered species are those species when its number has been reduced to a critical level, if the number should be more than, I mean, if they has 200%, it's maybe 1 or 2%, that number should be reduced. Then their population is reduced. They undergoes the critical level. If 1 or 2 living beings are there, 1 or 2 species are there, how they can breeding, how they can give next generations? Unless it protected and conserved, it is immediate danger to extinction. They may not survive if we may not protect that species. Extinct species, endangered species are those species are tremendously reduced to a critical level of their population, is known as endangered species. Extinct species are a species is said to be extinct when it is no longer found in the world. See, endangered, if population is reduced, then up to critical level, they may not extinct after some time. This is the major, drawback for biodiversity. Hence, we have to conserve the biodiversity. What are the rare species, major rare species? Rare species are, a species is said to be rare when it is localized within restricted area. But are more extensive area, but within particular area only that species are available. They are known as rare species. Endangered species are different, rare species are different. Endangered species are, their population is decreased and then they undergo critical level and they are going to extinction. Rare species are a species particular to one special area, one restricted area, is known as rare species. Endangered species. Some important endangered species are Indian tiger. In previous classes also I explained what is the importance of tiger and then why. So, but many of the national parks and then wherever the tiger is there, but it is going to the, including Himalayan ranges, Gir National Parks, everywhere tiger population is reduced and then going to the extinction. Indian dolphins, these are also Indian bustards. Some of the endangered species, I'm giving to you examples. Indian vulture, Indian king vulture, Indian wild buffalo, all these are going to the Indian wild ass, Indian bustard, dolphin, all these are going to the extinction. They having lot of importance in their particular ecosystem. Each and every living being having their importance, their own importance. Indian dog, all these are endangered species. We have to conserve. Why endangered species? Why? What are the factors affecting the endangered species? First thing is the pollution, then over exploitation of the resources by human being, climatic factors, population explosion, all these plays tremendous effect on the biodiversity. Major species. Next, endemic species. Endemic species which are found only, rare species in a particular region are known as endemic species. But amphibians, reptiles, some variety of amphibians will live in some areas only. Then monitor lizard, reticulated python and Indian salamander, all these are endemic species. Then just I am giving the brief about what is the endemic species and then what are the endangered species, why it has to, what is the importance to conserve the biodiversity. So conservation means protection, preservation, management, restoration of wildlife. See, you have to remember not only protection, protection, preservation, management, restoration, all comes under conservation. Each and everything, protection, preservation, management, restoration, everything has to be done. Wildlife and natural resources, including forest, water, everywhere, everything. Through the conservation of biodiversity, the survival of many species and habitats which are threatened due to human activities can be ensured. We have to visualize with these activities of us, these species are going to extinction. With these activities, these blunder activities of us, with these selfish activities of us, these species are going to extinction. In the balancing of ecosystem, each and every individual is mandatory. Hence, we have to conserve. Conserving biodiversity, including securing valuable natural resources for future generations and protecting the well-being of ecosystem functions. So conservation is majorly in situ conservation. In situ conservation means within habitat. Ex situ conservation in the sense outside the habitat. First, we are going to discuss about the in situ conservation. In situ conservation involves the protection of fauna and flora within its natural habitats where they are growing. If we can protect that area, automatically that fauna and flora will be conserved, protected, preserved. Where the species normally occurs is called as the in situ conservation. This in situ conservation is the protection of fauna and flora, living beings within its natural habitats where that species normally occurring is known as in situ conservation. The natural habitats or ecosystems maintained under in situ conservation are called protected areas where these natural habitats we are conserving, we are protecting are known as protected areas. Major in situ conservations are biosphere reserves, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, major area wherever the majority of the population of different variety of species are there, that forests are conserved as a, I mean that forest is conserved as a national park. There, that forests are termed as a national parks because they are protected areas. And then wildlife sanctuaries, bird sanctuaries, everything, tiger sanctuaries. And then biosphere reserves also. Around 4% of the total geographical area of the country is under for in situ conservation. But we are thinking this is conservation, this is under the conservation, this is under the protected. But on that also there is lot of threats. We have to think on that direction also. So majorly in our India, biosphere reserves are major, 7 national parks are 80, wildlife sanctuaries are 420, sacred rivers and forests of individual areas. Some areas, Ganga is the sacred river, but even though, even if it is a sacred river, Pori river, there is a lot of pollution, there is a lot of threat to that animals present, living beings present on that water ecosystem, that riverine ecosystem. Forest also, some forest area for tribal people, this area is very sacred to us like that. But everything, somewhere, some thinking is going on, but even though there is a lot of threat. Biosphere reserves covers large area, more than 50 more than 5,000 square kilometers. It is used to protect species for a long time. What are the role of biosphere reserves? So even though if we are thinking biosphere reserves, what are the role? But if we are reserving that biosphere gives long-term survival of evolving ecosystem, it protect endangered species, it protect maximum number of species and communities. It serves as a site of recreation and tourism, but here is a threat. Simply we are thinking recreation and tourism. During that we are creating lot of disturbance to these people. It's also useful for educational and research purposes. Educational and research purposes also, as per Wildlife Protection Act, um, uh, only up to some extent only, including biotechnology and then everywhere scientific research, um, we can utilize minimum number of species which are not going to under threat only. This is the biosphere preservation. National park. A national park is an area dedicated for the conservation of wildlife along with Kaziranga National Park. Many national parks are there with its environment. Wildlife along with its environment, with their habitation. So usually small reserves covering an area of about 100 to 500 square kilometers within the biosphere reserves. One or more national parks also exist. Within that area, mm, this particular area for elephants, this particular area for tigers, like that, national parks are existing. But on that, one Gujarat Gir forest is famous for, Gir forest is majorly for tigers. But under remaining animals also there, remaining species also there. One we are protecting, once we are, government is declared this area is the national park. What will happen? Remaining all the habitation will be preserved, protected. What are the role of national park? It is used for enjoyment through tourism. This is the drawback. Without affecting the environment, this is a little bit tough job. That is one kind of okay tourism and then everything is okay, but many animals are suffering, many animals are disturbing. Even some group of people are going and then visiting and then disturbing in the name of tourism, like that. um, that is also one kind of issue, even though, but those who are, getting permission also, it's not easiest task to visit that national parks or bird sanctuaries, everything. Then it is used to protect, propagate, and develop the wildlife. This is very important thing. Protect, propagate, and develop the wildlife. Then wildlife sanctuaries also is reserved for the conservation of animal only. Bird sanctuaries for conservation of birds. Wildlife sanctuaries for conservation of animal. But we are giving more prioritized to that particular bird, that particular animal, even though along with that, remaining as well as they can, remaining biosphere, remaining habitation, remaining ecosystem also protected. At present, approximately 492 wildlife sanctuaries are there in our country. The wildlife sanctuaries also protects animals. Then ex situ conservation. So ex situ conservation involves protection of fauna and flora outside the natural habitats. See, if you can think, in situ conservation within their habitats, ex situ conservation outside their habitation, which is good. This one is more prioritized. In situ conservation is the more prioritized. That animals, they are thinking we are in our habitation itself. There is no problem. There is no they may not put in a case or wherever it may be, some restricted area. Their entire habitat, that particular area, forest area, they can enjoy for their day-to-day, living purpose, everything. So we has to give more prioritization in situ conservation by biosphere reserves, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, as a sacred river, sacred forest, everything. But if any species particularly endangered, particularly, they may not exist, what we has to do? We has to conserve extinction, ex situ conservation. But in the zoo parks, what is happening in the zoo parks? We are putting lion, tiger, wild, any kind of wild animals. But thing is, they are suffering as a loneliness. Simply, we are putting in one cage, one particular area. They lost their, freedom. Main thing. This is the problem in the ex situ conservation. But botanical garden, that's okay. Plants, nothing is happening. Even in the, but uh, varietiness is decreased in the botanical garden. The botanical gardens, only particular species only we are conserving. Seed banks, this is good. Wherever any kind of seeds, any kind of plant species are going to extinction, if we can preserve as a seed banks, that is good. Aquaria, tissue culture, arborea, and then tissue culture also good. Gene bank, sacred plants, all these comes under the ex situ conservation, especially except for all the animals. In situ conservation is good because they are enjoying their life in their own habitat. If these animals comes to ex situ conservation, they lost their freedom of living style. Suppose if we are putting one bird in a one cage, what will happen? It may not getting lot of, their life, they lost lot of life, enjoyment of their life. Their habitation will be lost. That is the problem. Hence, we have to prioritize to giving in situ conservation of any living being, majorly, especially for animals. In situ conservation is good while comparing to the ex situ conservation, because every times we are hearing, then many elephants are died, many deers are died due to food pollution, or otherwise different diseases like that. If they are in situ conservation, there is no problem, they can sustain, they can sustain. That is the importance. Then ex situ conservation, mainly National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resource, Gene Bank. It is located in New Delhi. Cryopreservation techniques to preserve agriculture and then horticulture crops too. What is cryopreservation techniques? It's preservation of seeds, pollen of some important agricultural and horticultural crops, not only in the important species, by using liquid nitrogen at temperature as low as, minus 1966 degrees centigrade. Minus 2, nearly minus 2000 degrees centigrade. Varieties of rice, various, not only rice crops, which having lot of important, all the important species are, preserved in the gene bank. Variety, all, not only food and then agricultural, horticultural, everything will be preserved. Then National Bureau of Animal Genetic Resource, it is located at Karnal, Haryana, I mean nearer to Delhi, preserves the semen of domesticated bovine animals. Then what are the advantages of ex situ conservation? In captive breeding, animals are assured food, water, shelter, and also security and hence longer lifespan. But this is little bit thinking is like that in zoological parks, everything. But major animals are died for food, uh, food pollution, water, shelter is okay, but with that shelter they may not satisfy it. If lion is in the forest, tiger is in the forest, elephant is in the forest, uh, they enjoyed a lot. Like you, being students, if you are in the classroom, that is for your development only. You are feeling somewhat different. If you are in the playground, you are feeling very good. I mean, that is the major difference. If we are conserving the ex situ situation in the zoological park, any animal, food, okay, but little bit thing is shelter, habitation is major. That is little bit drawback is there. It is carried out in cases of endangered species which do not have any changes of survival in the wild. Then what are the disadvantages? It is expensive. Freedom of wildlife. Yeah, this is very serious issue. Freedom of wildlife is lost. That is a major drawback. Even though we are thinking we are providing food, we are providing water, shelter, everything, but they lost their freedom. That is the problem. The animals cannot survive in natural environment too. After that, if we are sending them back to the natural forest, they may not survive because they are accustomed to these kind of things. That is the problem. Then in situ conservation methods, hmm, then ex situ conservation method, both are good for future survival everywhere, or otherwise, I mean, some kind of some important species we may not get for future generations. This is the very importance of the, I mean, biodiversity conservation. Biodiversity conservation at the same time, its importance. Then, what is our role in the biodiversity conservation? Each and every individual plays vital role in the conservation of, in our local level, conservation of, if any species is going to the extinction, any bird or any animal is we not getting proper food, and any birds are not getting proper food. I mean, whatever we depends on our their necessity, and then our availability, and then our habit, would has to conserve the species. At that time only, I mean, by